Hello everyone in the Secrets of Sleep Baby and Toddler Sleep Help group. My name is Courtney. I'm your host. I'm a pediatric sleep consultant and I'm here to help you get a great night of sleep. Today I just wanted to share a story, just a quick story on kind of the topic of, do I have to wait it out or could there be more for this summer? This week I'm just talking about summer and how exciting it is, and after this live I'm going to go take my kids to the water park. I feel like we're going to do water park days every day. I'm just so excited about summer, and I just also know, and I remember what it was like when I had, little babies and little toddlers that struggled with sleep. It just felt like I couldn't focus on anything else. It just felt like I was so sleep deprived that I remember asking friends how do you drive? Is it safe? Because I was up every 45 minutes with my son when he was a baby. So hey, let's talk about it. Do we have to just wait it out or could there be more for the summer? The answer is I definitely don't think we have to wait it out. Let's go through a very frequent, this could be one client story, but this is also just a regular thing that I experience with families. Okay, so here's a scenario. Okay, so this family, they, put their baby to bed at 7. Let's say this is a 6-month-old baby. They put their baby to bed at 7. It takes them about half an hour of rocking. They place their baby in bed, and finally, the baby's asleep. Mom goes downstairs. She spends an hour with her husband, and then suddenly the baby's up again. She runs back upstairs. She, does a bit of a feed. She rocks the baby back to sleep. It takes another half an hour. She places the baby back down into bed, and then she goes back downstairs, spends maybe a couple hours with her husband. And then the baby cries again, and she's like, all right, it's probably time for bed, We've been doing this, it's kind of, I'm tired, it's the end of the day, right? Gives the baby a bit of a feed, spends another couple minutes, rocking. Let's say it takes 20 minutes of time. She puts the baby into bed again, okay? And then she hops into bed, and she has a couple hours of sleep. And after a couple of hours, the baby's up again. So what does she do? She grabs the baby, she pulls the baby into bed with her, maybe does a bit of a feed, maybe does some rocking, but at least the baby's close enough to her bed that, instead of having to get up and do a full-blown rock, it's a little bit more of either a snuggle or a breastfeed to sleep or something like that, right? And then the baby wakes up still kind of every 2 hours, maybe for a feed, maybe for, kicking her in the side, those sorts of things. And then she wakes up the next morning thinking, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to do this day, okay? So this is super common for me to talk to families like this. Post below if this is you, of every morning I wake up in the morning, I'm exhausted from the night, okay? This is so challenging for me because first of all, I definitely was there. I definitely experienced this. I had a son who woke up every 40 minutes because, yeah, that was terrible. And I definitely remember just not being able to enjoy life and just feeling like the world had come to an end. And this is the thing about sleep consulting, is that I know that this doesn't have to be your normal. I know that there are proven strategies. There are ways to break off these sleep associations, these things that are causing our little ones to wake up. I know that there are strategies that we can put in place. We can put in place gentle strategies. I know that most people, they're worried about crying. We don't want crying. There's strategies that we can use that are gentle strategies. There's lots of concerns about, is it going to work? I'm yeah, it works for sure. Anything that's, habit-based, it might take longer than we expect or, something like that, but it's definitely going to work if we break off these habits. At 6 months of age and older, babies can be sleeping through the night. They are not waking anymore for, nutrition or for feeding in the night. We're assuming we're talking about a healthy baby, right? This is all habit-based. So we can absolutely work on these habits. You don't have to wait it out. And I don't recommend that you do wait it out because there's no knowing if your baby's suddenly gonna just decide to kick off these habits and sleep through the night, right? That's why I definitely recommend that now is the time. So if you have a little one that's waking up frequently in the night and you want to enjoy your summer, my recommendation would be right now to put in 3 weeks of hard work. Right now at the beginning of the summer, everyone's it's summertime, I want to go out and I want to enjoy. It's but think about how much you can enjoy your summer 3 weeks from now when you have a baby that sleeps through the night. Think about the dates that you could go on with your spouse if it wasn't such a big deal to have grandma at your house in the evening, if you knew that you put your baby to bed at, 7 o'clock and you knew that your baby was going to just sleep through the night. Right? You could go on some fun dates, You could plan day trips that you can't plan because you're too sleep deprived right now, So here's my invitation. If you have a baby that's struggling with sleep and you really just don't know if this is something that, if if there's a solution to the problem, send me a DM. Tell me about your baby's sleep. Okay, give me a little blurb. This is how much my baby's waking up in the night. This is what my baby wants. In the night. Can we fix this? Can we solve this? Okay. I would love to work with you. I run a really wonderful 3-week program, and I have 4 spots available for the month of July. Okay, so send me that DM. I'm about to go out to the water park with my kids. I don't have the length of days that I usually do, but I'm definitely here for 4 spots available for the 3 weeks to better sleep program. I'm excited to help families get a great night of sleep. Thanks for watching. Bye.